We're going to talk about T.Rex Arms, Lucas, and the entire community as a whole, and I sincerely hope that you watch this entire video. If you've got strong feelings about the situation, I'm going to ask that you do me a huge favor. Remove them for a moment. I'm going to start first with this. I've been quiet on this topic, and I will admit, initially I started forming my opinion the moment that I saw Lucas drop that first video, but I took a step back, and instead of talking more, I simply watched and I listened. I didn't feel like my opinion mattered in this particular situation at the moment, but as I saw it boiling over, our entire team felt that it was time to share some thoughts. I'm going to be addressing my personal thoughts from a position of my faith in Christ, but I'm also going to share a non-religious view for those of you who are not believers. After all, if you don't believe as I do, you likely are not going to weigh the decisions, statements in the same way that I would. I want to make this video as easy to flow through as possible, so I'm going to try to keep it as short as possible, and I'll break out the faith side of things and the non-religious side of things out as quickly and concisely as I possibly can. And then after this video, I want you to leave us a comment. I want to know where you're at, but I'm also going to challenge you with this. Leave your comment based on how this affects you personally, not how you think it went down, or the little bits and pieces of information that you're using to form that opinion. I'm saying that if this has personally affected you, I want to hear it. But if you're simply leaving a broad, biased, and divisive opinion, I'm going to ask you to first audit your heart. So what is my intention with this video? I hope that this is a different take on the situation and our community as a whole. I hope that this is a different tone and one that isn't meant to divide, but instead offers a stable, non-emotional, and realistic view of the situation and how we are responding as a community. And first off, let me just admit some ways that I've screwed up, because over the years being on social media, I've engaged in negative comments. I have also been guilty of doing what I've seen in this situation. I've not always been loving or kind. I've lashed out of anger, and I've put people down. But especially in these last few years, my mindset and my heart has shifted. There's this conviction of responsibility when you have a level of influence over anyone. And I haven't always done that well. But thankfully, my devoted team cares equally about what we put out, so we audit everything we do against our vision. And our vision is to inspire individuals to become capable providers and protectors. And I'm leaving this here, and I will be coming back to that vision statement in a bit. I've also navigated really difficult business situations and discussions that you all know nothing about, and you likely never will know anything about them. Why is that? It's because as a Christian, my struggles, battles, and negotiations with my Christian brothers and sisters ought to remain in private. And I'm going to get to that key point here shortly. But let's talk about a bird's eye view of what happened. So Lucas is no longer with T.Rex. If you paid attention to the timeline and the very small amount of information that was dispelled, you will find the following things. This ownership turmoil has been going on for many, many years. Believe it or not, this is actually very common. I believe it was Dave Ramsey that said, "The only ship guaranteed to sink is the partnership." There's a reason that he says this. And what this means is there is a progression from all sides, a misalignment of key visions for the brand, clear expectations, and frankly, how to navigate those expectations. And when these things happen, it's impossible to say that one thing caused it. This is always a combination of factors. And I believe the company grew far beyond what any of the owners thought possible. And growth exposes pain points. Things that could be ignored could no longer be ignored. The reality is people change, visions can vary, and these misalignments can be deadly for a company. Nearly every company with multiple owners will face this. In the early years, it can be mistakenly overlooked. A deep love of each other allows blind grace, but as things progress, that grace can actually lead to hypocrisy. There's always a time of growth where accountability must extend beyond the grace that simply allows those initial actions to continue. I believe there became an impasse where every party involved knew that something had to break. Someone had to leave. Shares had to be purchased, sold, transacted. Frankly, Lucas chose to leave T.Rex, and Lucas is being paid for his shares and equity in T.Rex, the sum of which nobody knows, and frankly, it's none of our business. And here are the main points that I'm seeing people passionately discussing on social media as this wildfire has erupted. Number one, the brothers intentionally tried to screw Lucas out of his position, and this is a massive cover-up plot to save face. Number two, that this power move by the brothers occurred early on simply to manipulate Lucas from his business and reap the benefits. Number three, that photographs were intentionally distributed to harass Lucas's wife. Number four, that the T.Rex ownership team did nothing. Number five, that the employee was the son of an executive, and for that reason, the employee was protected because of status. Number six, that Lucas was naive and didn't know what he was getting into with the contracts. And number seven, that the company was stolen from him against his will. And these are the hills that people are planting their flags on and staking their position on. And at first glance, if you believe everything at surface level, it's damning. But is it? The truth is, you have no information. You have biased information from all sides. You weren't in the meetings and you weren't in the email chains. You were not the ones navigating the pains of building a business. And the harder truth, this story is not about you, and you're making it about yourself. It's also not about me. Now, I've been working with T.Rex for years. Even though we all do not have all the specific details, all the unbiased information, my stance remains the same. This is not about me, and it's never going to be about me. And I've got a different take. Why did we hear anything about all of this at all? Why was it made mainstream and public? And I think that's my broader point here that's worth noting and considering, especially for those of you that are engaging in the destructive actions and comments while still professing to be Christians. The entire situation, in my opinion, should have stayed private for the sake of Christ's church, for the sake of healing and moving forward, and for the sake of forgiveness, navigating the grief, and eventually moving towards healing. You and I should not even know about this situation. At worst, a video simply saying Lucas was leaving T.Rex for other ventures should have been made live. At best, a group video with all parties involved announcing the split, or even better, nothing at all. When Christians fail or fall publicly and it's not dealt with properly, it leaves the door open for those who hate Christianity to capitalize on the moment and use it as a tool for destructive purposes. We quite literally become the weapon used to dismantle our families. And it really makes me lose faith in you all as a member of this supposed community. All the points that are in the list above, to me, are a story that is spun out of control by people who are more interested in drama than building a community that achieves anything remarkable. Instead of spending your time building, y'all are consumed with breaking. You gossip about things that you've frankly never personally experienced. You spread rumors about situations you weren't a part of, all based on information that's partial at best, and it includes biases from everyone involved. That's not a stab at T.Rex or Lucas. It's just the fact. When we go through hard things, our bias is inherent. You are choosing which bias you are aligning with, planting your flag as if you know the facts when it's impossible for you to know the true facts. The truth is, you aren't a part of this story, and your speculations and regurgitated attacks don't embody a community that is based around a vision of freedom, liberty, and building a collective of prepared people across the nation. You say you're a defender, yet here we are. You are ready and willing to eat your own. Let's talk about businesses with partners in general. If a business does not immediately establish its purpose, its vision, and then establish who is going to be directing that vision, you will inevitably move towards inconsistencies. The standards you set out will not be adhered to. The company culture won't be cohesive. There's many ways to run a company and build culture, but inside of a company, there has to be one culture. And as a business grows, the desires and the dreams and the vision of the owners and their roles can change and become muddy. Tensions rise when the pressure rises. No mentors, third parties, and no expert will come in and fix a business that has multiple visions and multiple cultures. It's going to need to be broken down and separated, or it's going to have to be consolidated and rebuilt around one singular vision and culture. Why do businesses with partners often fail or end up separating? It's almost always coming down to a misalignment or a difference of vision that existed from day one, but it wasn't necessarily recognized early on. That isn't always a bad thing, but it is a thing, and it leads to separate views where a business should go. Separations and breaking apart of businesses almost always is the result of issues and misalignments from everybody involved. Each party plays a role, not just one group or a single person. If a standard cannot be achieved, expectations are not agreed upon, and a clear single vision cannot be obtained, then the business in some way will separate at worst, or it won't reach its potential at best. Likewise, greed, sin, envy, and a host of other emotions can cloud judgment and lead business owners down destructive courses. This isn't to say that all businesses with partners fail, because many exist, but it is less common for them to succeed than sole owners. Family members, wives, husbands, and outside influence can absolutely lead partners astray, leading to a separation. And in most cases, hard conversations were not had. Topics were avoided for fear of hurting people that you care deeply about. And love can blind you from the thing that you need to do or say. And sometimes the most loving thing that you can do is the hardest thing that you need to say. This is a hard lesson for all of us, no matter where you find yourself. It's actually uncommon for a business with partners to survive. That is sort of a statistical anomaly. So the fact that the breakup happened is not shocking. It would have been shocking if they never broke up at any point. And most of you don't recognize that because you are not a business owner navigating these decisions. You speak on things you've never experienced. You haven't been through the pain of building something from nothing. So you cannot possibly wrap your mind around the complexity of navigating decisions like this and the emotional and relational toll that they take on you and the people that you care about. You have no experience to base your judgment on, yet I see you talking, gossiping, you're slandering, and you're profane. Is that truly what this community is about? Who built T.Rex? The reality of this is complex. I'm the owner of TA Targets, and I'm one of 3 original founders of the company. I put in a ton of work in the early years to get this company to where it's at, but would it be right of me to say that I'm the only one that built it? The answer is absolutely not. What about my team? What about the employees here? If I'm being honest, I play this very small role of casting a vision that's worthy of following. And I try to get better every single day to do right by my team. But in reality, my team has built TA, not me. The people that you don't even see are the reason this company exists and has gotten to where it has gotten. And likewise, the people inside of T.Rex, both past and present, are why T.Rex became what it is. Anything stating the contrary is simply untrue. And yes, in the early years, a founder has to take on an exorbitant amount of work and risk to make something go. But quickly you can see on their storyline that T.Rex grew through a consolidated effort, not just by Lucas, but by their entire team. Much like Lucas, I'm the face of my company. But if for some reason I walked away from TA in good faith, I cannot say I built TA, as in me, Jared, can take full credit of what this company has done and become. That's not reality, and it's not telling the story of the incredible people that I am blessed with that have built this company. It also doesn't tell the story of the work that God has done with a band of imperfect people leading this company. A company is never one person. It's a collective effort that results in something impactful that then can go on and change lives. To those of you watching that are non-believers, I want to speak directly to you for a moment. What makes you different than the woke mob and the cancel culture that you always claimed that you despised? Can you not see a hypocrisy there? And are you fooled enough to feel that Lucas truly needs your protection, that he's not capable of forging his own path? Do you truly feel that your comment has any impact on what has already come to pass? So what good does stewing on something do when you don't even have the facts? You've got pieces of tiny fragments of information from all sides, and you're deciding to plant your flag on the hill of speculation. And then to make matters worse, you attack a company that's employing around 100 people, supporting wives and children of those that are employed. You're engaged in an act of sabotage against families who are your brothers and sisters in this gun community. And I want to ask, is that what a community of protectors does? Because if so, I don't want to be a part of your community. If the moment a mistake is made, we jump to judgment and we cast stones with the intention of destruction, then I wonder what value our community even brings. Lucas himself has called out the worst parts of this industry over the years, and what I'm seeing right this moment from all of you is those exact traits coming to light once again. This time at the expense of destroying what was a lighthouse in the industry. Are you righteous in your actions? You are not a part of this story. This story is not yours to tell, to gossip about, or to stoke flames around. If you want Lucas to win in this transaction, frankly, the best thing that you could do is make sure that T.Rex stays around long enough to pay him his equity of shares that he sold during the transaction. If you run a sidecar holster or T.Rex kit and you've loved it, keep it. If it was your go-to, keep running it, use it. Buy more if you think it's still the best holster. If not for the T.Rex owners, do it for the families that are employed in a part of Tennessee that frankly doesn't offer much opportunity. Put down your sword and move forward. Build instead of tearing down. Be better than this. If you feel that Lucas was wronged, support him financially when his companies come to light. Do so in good conscience, knowing that you are not a part of attempting to destroy something that brought so much good to our community and our nation. To my Christian brothers and sisters, I have a different challenge for you. You are held to a higher standard. I've seen far too many accounts with Christ's name in their bio putting some of the most vile comments I've seen on the internet ever. We as Christians are to deal with our transgressions in private. It isn't for the world to know. When we've been wronged by a brother or sister, the scriptural application is to address them one-on-one, then address with peers or witnesses, then bring it to the church. But even the church is not the public forum. If there still is no repentance and correction, you may cut ties with that person. Now, I'm summarizing a passage here to avoid the deep theological discussions, but I'm hoping that you understand the basic premise of what I'm saying. James 4:11 says, "Do not slander one another, brothers. He who slanders a brother or judges his brother slanders the law and judges the law. But if you judge the law, you are not a doer of the law, but a judge of it. There is only one lawgiver and judge, the one who is able to save and destroy. But who are you to judge your neighbor?" Boy, have I been guilty of that one far too many times. And that verse hits me hard, and it's one I can use to audit my thoughts, my words, and my actions. When TA Targets restructured ownership and I became sole owner of the company, there was no video, there was no public proclamation, no parties involved dispelled perceived wrongs to the general public, and no inside information was shared, and it was done as quietly as possible in the most loving and careful way possible. I'm not putting myself up or my prior partners on a pedestal, but I'm simply saying that we have to operate at a higher standard. And you know nothing about our circumstance, because as Christian brothers and sisters, our standards are higher than the world. Are your actions in alignment with Christ's principles? Or are you casting the first stone as if you are blameless and sinless? The Pharisees were happy to pick up stones and throw them, but we know there is another way of grace, forgiveness, and speaking in a different manner. To the influencers, I want to speak to you for a moment. You are also to be held to a higher standard because you have the ability to build or destroy with your words and actions, especially influencers that are claiming to be Christians. Now, I'm not going to sit here and question anyone's salvation because that's not my place to judge or cast judgment. That's between you and God. You know your heart, you know your soul, but if you proclaim to be a Christian and you exhibit destructive actions throughout the situation, then I think at least you need to be doing some soul searching and dig into your heart. Why are you engaging this? Why are you casting stones? What makes you qualified to pass judgment onto others when you yourself deserve judgment? Who made you the judge, jury, and executioner in the situation? What credential do you possess that makes you worthy of speaking on a topic you freaking likely have no ability to even understand? You haven't been in a business relationship that failed. You haven't built anything remotely close to this very thing that you are jumping on to pass judgment. I will say this, I've screenshot those of you making videos so that I know who I personally will not support. Not in defense of T-Rex, as they can defend themselves, but because I do not wish to associate with people who are simply using this as an opportunity to put yourself up on a pedestal. I will remember so that I know that I am not supporting people who prey on the mistakes and the trials of others for their own monetary gain or public popularity. For Lucas, I sent you that text, I called you and I left you a voicemail telling you that I'm going to continue praying for you, and I'm going to continue to do that with my team. May God bless you in your current endeavors, and hopefully He paves you this new way for you to enter a space that you are called to be in. Yes, a door has closed, but another one has opened. Keep Christ centered in your life and stay on a path of righteousness. Weigh your words, actions, and decisions and measure them from a heart of love and peace. I will continue to support you. I see the situation through the lens of someone who has navigated a difficult and painful business transition with people that I call family. I know how hard it is to have a clear mind and to remember how much you love the people that you currently desire nothing to do with. When you're out in the world consulting with ranges, I hope that you call me because I'm already on the quest of revitalizing our outdoor ranges and helping to build them to success. I'm gonna be here and I can help you when you are ready. To the T.Rex team, I'm gonna continue to pray for you all for guidance, for healing, and for peace. For your employees, my team will continue to lift you up in our prayers as well. And T.Rex has impacted tens of millions of lives over the last 13 or so years, including mine. I've gone through a business transition, a total team overhaul, and I've been on this road personally. It's full of darkness and pain and turmoil. And this is a moment of complete rewiring. And it probably feels endless, but it will come to pass. Trust in that. TA will continue to support you and work with your team to offer products that flow from our heart and our vision of building and supporting providers and protectors. Because you all are reaching people on that journey, and your team, including Lucas, has changed the lives of millions. And I think there's a broader picture that one chapter has ended, but a new chapter has begun. And now you have two companies that will go on to impact lives. If there's reconciliation publicly, that's now two companies that can double the impact on the world around us. So what seems bad now can most certainly be used for good. I want to be a peacemaker, so I'm going to leave you guys with this verse. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the sons of God. Remember why we do what we do, to preserve life, to pursue liberty, and to provide for those around us in their time of need. Our community has a higher calling, and we have to be better than what I'm seeing right now. I'm not telling you what to believe or what to think, but I'm asking you to pause, to breathe, and to recognize that you are not involved. You're not affected by this. This is not your story, but you can have a huge impact on the world around you. So go onward with peace, with a clean mind, a clear conscience, and a vision for your life. And TA's vision of inspiring individuals to become those capable providers and protectors drove me to speak on this topic. I can't sit by silently watching our community attack those very providers and protectors, most of whom did not ask for this. They didn't desire this, and they played no part in what happened. I love you all. I'm humbled and I'm grateful for the ways that you've changed my life and my team's life over the last 10 years. I hope this video was helpful and encouraging to you to continue onward to that higher standard. I'll see you all next time.